Hello, my loves. Hello, how are you doing? You're going to see a number of reads from me today, as I have been called to darn near spend all day reading today. Kind of my penance for taking my time. But as those of you that know me, I take my time. I don't really read if the message is not different. But now, with the spring equinox and everything, it is different. So let's get into it a little bit, okay? I am using the Tarot of Dreams deck. For those of you that want to know, it was easier for me to do just a recording than show myself this time, so I can just get it out and give it some thought and consideration without considering the camera. So please take this if it resonates with you. If it doesn't, leave it where it's at. We are in an energy of flow, new birth, things new. We are in a feminine energy. And so some of the readings may lean toward that side. Take it how it resonates. It doesn't have to mean, that it is just for females. No, males have feminine side too. And that is what's being called forth at this time for you to create and for you to grow and be. Okay? All right. This is for entertainment and spiritual purposes only. I am an ordained minister, so I'm allowed to give spiritual counsel and advice. But please, if something crosses the line of medical or needing a therapist or financial advice, please go seek a professional. I do not proclaim to be an expert in those areas. I am an expert in education and spirituality. That's where I reside. Okay, my loves, let's get started. So the first card we have is the Queen of Wands. Next to it is the Empress, and next to that is the Ace of Wands. So the Queen of Wands and the Empress, I know that this energy has been switching. The birth, which is a great sign of the Empress, the harvest, because of spring. So that's a great sign. And it's been the Queen of Wands. In general, it's been the Queen of Wands energy that has been going between the Empress and the High Priestess. In general. That tells me that this Queen of Wands has elevated to Empress level. And in doing so, all the wrong that was brought to this energy is being vindicated with fire. It's being cleaned away with fire. It's done. Justice is here. And as we all know, fire illuminates. It shows that which is hidden, and it burns away that which is poisonous. So this in itself is an upheaval, and it shows a volcano in the background, and it shows a wand that's illuminated at the top like the sun. It shows a circle and a triangle. Now, I want you to understand that this in itself brings an upheaval, but it brings a much needed upheaval, because for a long time, things have needed to vindicate this Queen of Wands or this Empress or this High Priestess. Things have needed to vindicate for her. And it's funny because right when she was tired, they said, okay, almost as if waiting for her to call out for help. Because I'm getting a feeling that this Queen of Wands does everything on her own. She doesn't ask for help, but she has. And this Ace of Wands has heeded that call and said, okay, we can help. Next row, you have the King of Cups. You have the Five of Coins. You have the Tower. And you have the King of Swords. So this tells me the King of Cups is losing because he did not fulfill the promise of love. It was about money for the King of Cups. If the King of Cups really knew who he was, okay, he'd understand. He was to usher in and bring in love. That's what he promised. But he didn't. Or people in this energy. They were so focused on the money They didn't realize that through love would have brought the abundance, and not just money, but abundance. There's a difference. Abundance is wealth. Money is just like riches, but riches can go away. Wealth doesn't. And there's many ways to build wealth. You build wealth through love. You build wealth through creation. You build wealth through doing. But you also build wealth through just being who you are and loving people, because that brings people to you to build your abundance. Even that love is your abundance. This king didn't understand that. He was seeing shekels. He wasn't seeing love. So a tower is being brought to this person. And the King of Swords in this case represents the fairness in this judgment. It represents someone like a lawyer, a judge, a leader who is overseeing this fall. And it's fair. This judge is being fair to this. And it is. It's rightfully just. So the next we have the Sun, the Five of Cups, the Wheel, and the Lovers upside down. Now, at first when I saw this, I was like, Lovers upside down. Hold on now. I had to tell myself to hold on. So the Sun showing and exposing everything, right? Clarity. That's what we needed the most important throughout this whole thing was clarity among the lies. We needed to see beyond the illusion. We needed to know if this was a person we should go back with, or if we should just stay on our own moving toward the new one. Which is it? Now we will know. And what I like about the Sun card is you have planets, all the planets around, and we just had our planetary alignments, and I think others are coming up. So everything is being known. Today is the equinox. Everything is new and fresh and flowing. And you can feel the flow. Even with the dissension and the illusionary magic of everything falling apart in the world and people reacting. It's like Mother Goddess is saying, no, my loves. Look with the eyes of love instead. Be in that space of flow. And you will see what is needed. The next card is the Five of Cups, the loss of love, right? It is grief, lamenting, depression, unwillingness to change. So since people wouldn't change, the will is changing. And I want you to understand that. That's what's so important. I want you to understand. Because they wouldn't change, the universe had to change. Fate had to change. Destiny had to change. So now, because the bigger had to change for these little ones that wouldn't, they're going to get it. And that's why the Lovers is upside down. This Lovers represents a Gemini. So I'm more worried. I would have been more worried if it was the Two of Cups upside down. Okay. But it's changing and letting you know, no, you will not get this lover. This lover is not to bother you. This lover is not to be around you. They're not to deal with you. You're not to deal with the old. So that's a clear question with the Sun in the front and the Lovers upside down in the back. You're not to deal with this person, and this person is not to deal with you. And they know they're not to deal with you. They've been warned not to deal with you. So if they come around talking about, well, I felt God say, or I felt Spirit say, no. Because they did too much where the universe had to change. No. Same thing with the job, family, whatever. No. No. They were supposed to appreciate you. And in terms of a job, King of Cups could represent where a supervisor, someone was supposed to appreciate you. And another supervisor had to come in and make it fair for you because of how you were being treated. With the with the Five of Coins upside down. Trying to cost you. Someone else higher or the same stature had to say, no, that's a lie. Excuse me, that's not true. The next row is Justice. The Four of Wands. the Ace of Swords, and the Fool. You are being given a new beginning. You have to be. That's balance. That's justice. And not only are you given justice, the justice you're given is open doors to you. All doors opened unto you. And it's being protected with the Ace of Swords, with the air element. Me and the air element have been going toe to toe, but I decided today I'm going to appreciate the air element for what it is, because it doesn't get a lot of appreciation of what it actually does. It doesn't. And I understand that firsthand of not. So you're being given a new beginning that is fully protected from those trying to not give it to you. They can't come up against the universe, and they can't come up against spirit, and who protects spirit. They can't supersede that. They think they can. They can't. The next row, 3 of coins, death card, the star, and temperance. So what this is telling me, this group, these people that find and feel that the money is so important, that these riches are so important, they're going to die. It's not even a change I'm feeling. They're going to die because they made the universe itself have to move when it was supposed to be them who moved. They come to an end. They're the snake that bit, so the angel of death is coming to remove them. That's the balance. Why death, you may ask? Why not change? As I said, because the universe had to move differently and prepare differently than what was originally planned. And since that greater power had to move, the greater power of death has to move. They brought it on themselves. And it shall find them very soon. Especially to those who will not stop. Death shall find them for messing with this star, for messing with the light, the water bearer, the gift giver. Okay? And this is equal measure. What did I just say about the universe and the power of death? Equal measure. So this is temperance. This is equal measure. Okay? Anything else you want to show? World card. What else? The Knight of Swords. The Page of Wands. I'm not have to shuffle very much at all. Some of them are just coming out the way they want to. And the 7 of Cups. So it's funny, as the Fool has begun the journey, they're in the World card, meaning they have mastered all there is to master. The beginning and the end, the beginning and the end, and the end of the beginning. And this is the transition that's going on. You're already knowing, okay? But these people, these groups, whatever, always discounted your knowing. And not only did they always discount your knowing, they sold you short. They would always offer you the lowest thing that they could offer you to get you to change who you are, your path, and where you're going. They always offered you the lowest person that they could offer you to try to make you change. They always sold you off for the lowest price when you were the most precious gem in the whole bag. When you were the most rare thing, you were the most rarest gold nugget out of all the fake ones, but you were covered in dirt, so everyone would just throw you away. Not knowing you were the master. Not understanding you were the God. Not understanding and not seeing you were the most precious and most expensive prized possession that they could have gotten top dollar for. But they can't now. And with the Knight of Swords, transition. Someone that's judgmental, intellectual, brave. And that's what you are. And you're in transition. What that means is You're no longer being seen as the fool with this world card. You're now being seen, and people are starting to recognize you're the master. And they're starting to see they were foolish, because the next one is the Page of Wands. They're starting to see how foolish they were. They're starting to see how stupid, but now that they're trying to come back around, that Knight of Sword with that sword, he's wielding the Ace of Sword, and you will not. It's too late for you. It kind of reminds me of Beauty and the Beast story. It reminds me of that a lot. And how the prince, before he became a beast, did not appreciate the gift. And then spent all those years sad and depressed. And never thinking he'd never find love. But fate was nice enough to give him another chance. Fate was nice enough. Fate's not going to be nice enough to these people. Because they've done this lifetimes upon lifetimes for many times. So they don't deserve another chance. With this Page of Wands, thank you so much. With this Page of Wands, messenger, good news. Good news is headed your way over your choices that they're being presented to you, over your opportunities that's being presented to you, that you deserve. Okay? Over your creativity, your visions. You now have the choice. You're now being said, go ahead. Go ahead. Proceed. Anything else? Any other message we want to give? Anything else? Two of Swords. Knight of Coins. Anything else? Knight of Cups. Queen of Swords. Okay. Got a number of air elements here. Okay. So, Two of Swords, diplomacy, conflicting ideas, opposition, indecision. Indecision tells me this card. You may have some over what to choose because you were hurt so bad. You may be afraid to make a blind choice again, and you're not sure if it's going to be right. But this is the Two of Swords. And remember, the Ace of Swords cleared your way to give you clarity so you can see. You have to choose what's right for you. Okay? You have to have faith for what's right for you. And then we're going to ask the question, what is right? Again, transition. That's funny. Knight of Coins on top of the Knight of Swords. Transition. Transformation. Transition and transformation on top of each other. Interesting. So you're unsure about this transition. Don't be unsure. You're not being fooled this time. Not this time. Knight of Cups, another transition. Spiritual journey, love, dating. So you're transitioning to love. You transition from being in the fire to having your opportunities. And you're transitioning into money, and you're transitioning into love and speaking your truth. Do not second guess yourself speaking your truth. Some of you are. Some of you are second guessing yourself moving forward with this abundance and this love and using your voice. Don't. Make the decision. And if they do, make the decision. Okay. I think I'm getting it now. I think I understand. Okay, let's see. So you have the Five of Wands. You have the Queen of Coins. You have the Eight of Coins. And you have the Tree of Life. Okay. Now, you move forward in your quest. You move forward the way you're supposed to. Okay? And you're making the decision to choose your abundance and to choose the love that's for you. And you're protecting it, and it's protected. And you're using your voice. You will be met with opposition, but only from those that didn't want you to move forward in the first place. So don't think your way forward is just going to be smooth sailing. No, you still got some of the same people. Now, I said some of them going to be taken out. They are. But you still going to have some of the same people thinking that it doesn't belong to you. You shouldn't have it. Why you? And you may get opposition from someone in the Queen of Coins position. Or, yep, a feminine. But I think that is you. Actually, that's you. You're going to thrive. You're going to grow. You're going to build your abundance, whether with a mate or on your own. You're going to learn the skills. But it's not about just the financial abundance, actually. It's about your destiny. That's what the tree of life represents. It's about your destiny, your purpose. Okay? It's about everything for you. Yeah. Yeah. Because as I'm looking at the Tree of Life card, and those of you that know the Tarot of Dreams, there's a Tree of Life card. And at the top is the Fool and the World. And what did I say? You've become the master. At the bottom is the Ten of Pentacles. That's the material, as much material as it can be. And that hasn't come out in the reading. But the Queen of Pentacles did. Which I find interesting. Because that's right underneath the beginning. The one. That's right underneath the Emperor. Interesting. And your opportunities. You're right there. If you look at this Tree of Life card, you're right there. But there's some skills you need to know for this abundance. So if you don't know how to grow your money, if you don't know how to run your business, if you don't know how to market, if you don't know how to take your creations and make them work for you and take care of you in a way that they can financially, you need to learn that. That is the only thing at this point that's holding you back, is you not knowing business or you not knowing that part. So you need to learn that part. You need to understand how that part works. And you will flourish, my love. That is your destiny, is to learn what you don't know, the last pieces, before you really accelerate. So spend your time doing that. Spend your time learning and growing. All right, I'm going to take a couple of cards from the wisdom of the Oracle cards. And then we're going to wrap it up. Beautiful read. Beautiful read. What I'm loving, it is all about you. And you are showing up in feminine energy, of course. It's the spring equinox. So, again, embrace the creative flow. Embrace what makes you flow as a person, as a being in your life. For my male counterparts, this may be flow. Okay? This may be embracing your creativity so you can flow. Because that's what spring is about. Is that feminine energy, that newness, that creativeness, that wonder of new. Okay. Oh, these cards are talking. These cards are talking. And a lot of them. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. Let me gather. Please. All right. Let's see what we got. So, we have imagine. What did I say? Create. Buy the book. Okay. So, maybe this time is a time, that's what that learning is. Learning by the book. Following by the book. What the ancestors did before you, to see what you can do differently or what you can add to it. What kind of reminds me of the Hierophant card in that, what is the tradition that you need to follow that will guide you until you need to split off from it? blessed. Okay. Number 22 may be significant. New life. I can't make it up, y'all. New life is being given to you. Be flexible at this time. You're learning, you're growing. Be flexible, especially my males and this feminine energy. No, it's not making you less manly. It's putting you in the flow of creation, because what it is that you create is going to bring your abundance. Yin energy. What did I say? Feminine energy. Yang, why? Some of you have the questions of why. Why did this happen? What is going on? Don't worry about that. Ask the questions of why, of knowledge that you need. Okay? I know that's a what question. But sit back and look at why this happened to you. What lessons? Now is the time to ask, what lessons did I need to learn from this so I can move forward? Exchanging gifts. It's another card. And Treasure Island. I'm telling you, y'all. And then exchanging gifts was the number 27, and Treasure Island was the number 9. And I'm like, see, it's meant for you. It is meant for you. You are blessed with a new life. Anything that you imagine can be. Okay? Use the advice of the masters that have already come, emerald tablets. Use the advice of the ancients, Atlantis, of the ancient Egyptians. Use the advice that already has been. We're not actually recreating the wheel. All of this that is written has been already, and we just repeat these cycles, spiraling up or spiraling down. Look to the ancient wisdom. And that's where that why question comes in. Look to the ancient wisdom to see why things are working the way they are, why you're moving the way you are. What are your lessons for you to know as to why? Be flexible to what it's showing you. You're going to be given a new life, right? And you may see it a particular way, and it may scare the mess out of you if it doesn't turn out that way. Don't be scared. Let it flow. All right, my loves, that is your reading. I hope this helped. I love you so much. You are blessed beyond measure. Always know that. Okay? You take care now. Namaste.